75 lakhs. He has been a reviewer of many reputed journals and listed in editorial team for many reputed journals. He is fellow of professional bodies like Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, that is IETE, and member of IEEE Circuits and System Society. He has guided more than 50 UG students and 20 PG students for completing their thesis. His present research area includes VLSI circuits and systems, quantum computing, as well as quantum dot cellular automata circuit designing and verification. With this brief interview, I welcome you all to from the Department of Information Technology and the whole Tripura University fraternity. I take this privilege to hand over the session to you, sir. And thank you very much for your valuable time.
Yeah, a very good morning to all the participants, and thank you very much, sir. First of all, before starting off our seminar, let me thank Dr. Jayant Pal, sir, for inviting me to deliver a lecture in this wonderful FDP. The topic of this FDP, as we know, it is Introduction to Quantum Computing. I also want to thank AICT Training and Learning Academy for sponsoring this kind of an FDP. There is a much more need in India to conduct a FDP on this kind of a topics, which is very novel, and it is a research topic. Okay, and I also want to congratulate the Department of Information and Technology, Tripura University, for conducting this kind of a good FDP. And I also want to thank all the dignitaries from Tripura University for giving me a chance to deliver a lecture in this FDP. Okay, coming to the seminar. So first of all, let me tell you what I'm going to tell you about various topics in this FDP. So there is a first of all, we will see what exactly is quantum computing. In this seminar, we will try to cover all the basics about quantum computing. Okay, so besides the technical things, I will also try to keep the pace for understanding the basics of quantum computing, as well as we will also see the how the quantum computer works, and issues with the conventional VLSI chips. What are the problems we are facing currently for the VLSI chips? That's why we have to move towards the quantum computing, and the new way of thinking about quantum computing we will see. Then we will also see how the quantum computer works, and the various applications and the use of quantum computing in real life, as well as we will also see where we are standing right now, because there is much more hype is there about quantum computing. Everybody is talking about quantum computing, but in reality it is something different. Okay, and as India also wants to be a world leader in this race of becoming a expert in quantum computing, so we will also discuss about those things, and we will see various tools for using the quantum computing as a research. So coming to our first topic, what exactly is quantum computing? So dear friends, as we know that in physics, we are surrounded with all the kinds of objects, and for all kinds of objects, Newtonian laws are there. Okay, Newton sir has given 3 laws, and they are applied to all the in all this world. Everywhere these laws are applied actually. So whenever we throw any ball in our real world actually, so we know how the ball will react, and where it will go, and when it will come back, what will happen to that ball. Okay, or whenever we are dealing with any object, we know what the consequences will be there with that object, because they are following Newton's law. But whenever we are going at the subatomic level, means whenever we are going at the molecule level, at the electron, proton, neutron level inside the molecules, whenever we will break the matter, so the atom will come, and inside that atom, inside the molecule, this electron, proton, and neutron will be there. So this is the subatomic level. Okay, so at the subatomic level, whatever the electrons will behave, that is known as a quantum physics. So quantum physics is totally a different world. It does not follow Newtonian laws. So that is a weird world, we can say, because the atoms which behave in quantum physics is totally different. So it requires lots of efforts and lots of human brain. Lots of researchers are working in this field from many years. This is not a new field. Okay, just like uh, Sir Einstein has given the idea of laser in 1925 almost. Okay, so the reality of laser was not up to 1956. So the science takes some time to be a reality, because some scientists or some researchers has thought about the things in their mind. They will come up with some kind of research papers. They will tell the world, or they will inform the world about their research, and then some other scientists will follow the legacy of that scientist, and they will try to do some try and error, and they will come with the new solution for the for the idea. Okay, so idea is quite important. So quantum computing in today's era, in 2021, if you will say, so that is um, at the child level. Okay, it is very at the basic level, but the concept is not new. The concept is there from the many years. So what is quantum computing actually? So quantum computing is the study of how the phenomena of quantum physics works in real world. So we want to utilize the quantum physics laws, which are really weird. So we want to utilize them, and we want to utilize them for computing per point of view. So that is a quantum computing. So quantum computing has many phenomena like superposition is there, entanglement is there, then interference is there. So we will see all these terms in our coming slides. But quantum computing basically is to utilize the quantum physics laws for creating the new ways of computing. So it is about the quantum computing. And based on the quantum computing, right now in 2021, everybody is behind making a super quantum computers. If you will think some task which is done by a supercomputer, suppose in one day, which will be the complicated task. So the same task can be done by quantum computer within a second, the same task. Okay, and Google has already proved that in 2020, some one complicated task was there, and Google's quantum computer has done that task in 2.5 seconds, and Google has told as informed to the world that it has that the IBM supercomputer can do the same task in 25 days, okay, or 1 month. So that is the difference actually. Quantum computers are quite fast, but it is much complicated, obviously, and they are working on the subatomic level. So quantum computer, what is a quantum computer? Quantum computer, obviously, that is a kind of a machine which will perform the calculations based on quantum physics. Okay, it will take the quantum physics into account, and it will do its task, whatever task will be given to it. So obviously quantum computers are quite fast. They are not utilized for our normal task, for day-to-day work. Obviously the small companies or the big companies, they will not be able to utilize the abilities of quantum computer, because we are very much very efficient, and we are very happy with our conventional VLSI chips. Okay, so whatever our supercomputers can do now, that is more than enough for us. But whenever we are going to the complex things like Big Bang theory, everybody knows about Big Bang theory, the starting of our universe. Okay, but we don't know what exactly has happened at the starting of Big Bang theory. There are many different theories are there which is telling us about the what would have happened, but nobody exactly knows it. So at the Big Bang theory, at the starting atomic level, some super atomic atoms would be there. Okay, like that thinking is there. So how to simulate these things, how to realize these things, this will be possible using quantum computers. So till now, human history, nothing no research has been that much breakthrough except quantum computer. If quantum computer will be in a reality, so it will change the world we see today. Okay, so Google is telling that it will be able to come up with the means fully functional quantum computer by 2030. Same thing is same thing is announced by the IBM. They are also telling that we will come with the full functional quantum computers by 2035 something. So it is a much more complex things are there, but the basics are quite easy to understand. So we will see in our coming slides. So first of all, before understanding the quantum computers, we will have to understand how our normal computer works. So in our normal computer, if you will see, these all the computers in all over the world, they are working on the electricity. Okay, they requires electricity. Either the current will be AC or DC, it does not matter, but they require some kind of an electricity to perform the task. So electricity has the phenomenon like either electricity will be present or it will not be there. Okay, so it will be present, we are telling it as a logic 1, and if it is not present, it is logic 0. Okay, so electricity it is made up of current and voltage. So current is the flow of electrons, and the voltage difference is known as a voltage. So the potential difference between the two terminals is known as a voltage. So to push the bunch of electrons into one direction, we require voltage. Okay, so if electrons are present in the circuit while we are dealing with it, so it will be known as a logic 1. If electrons are not present, so it will be logic 0. So the transistors are at the bottom approach. At the fundamental, if you will see, so transistors are there. So using all these transistors and using all these logics, we are making logic devices. And because logic 1 and logic 0, we have only two logics are there. So that's a 2-bit logic. Whenever we are talking about electronics, about computers, so we are always working in the binary field. Okay, so only two fields, only two digits we can have, either logic 0 or logic 1. We don't have any third logic in the computers. So there is a limitation for our real world computers now, because they will have to count the logics. Okay, either logic 0 or logic 1. And at the bottom of approach, transistors are there. So transistors are nothing. It is the real thing. Real devices are there. Okay, so transistors turns on and turns off. Okay, using the electronic switch, we cannot do it manually, but electronic switches are there. So by using the transistors at the bottom of approach, we are making logic gates. And as we know, there are 7 kinds of logic gates are there, as it is shown in the figure also. The 3 basic gates are like inverter and OR gate, and universal gates NAND NOR, and special gates are like XOR and XNOR. If you will give some logics to them, they will come up with some output. So all these logic gates combined, if you will combine all these logic gates, they will make an IC. Jack Kilby sir has made the first IC in 1958, and the first transistors was made in 1947. The size of the first transistors was in millimeter. Okay, but then after we have tried to scale down the transistor size. So if you will combine all these logic gates, it will make a integrated circuit IC, okay, which is also known as a chip, which is utilized in our basic computers nowadays, and which is known as a microprocessor. If you will see the larger version of IC, so that's a microprocessor which will have many units inside it. So the latest microprocessor in market right now, it is Core i5, and here you can see the picture of Core i7, which is dealing with the technology of 15 nanometer. So 15 nanometer is too much small. Just as for example, if you will see, so if you will take the cross section of our hair, okay, our hair's cross section, if you will take, so on the top of our cross section of our hair, we can easily keep 1 billion transistors. Okay, that much small technology is there. That much small fabrication we can made for a transistor. And if we have made a computer, if you want to talk with the computer, machine languages are there. Okay, all the high languages like Java, Python, and if you'll see the assembly languages, okay, C, C++. What does these languages do? The languages are converted into machine language, and the machine language means at the bottom of, they will be converted into logic 0 or logic 1, so that our microprocessor will understand it. So if the human being want to interact with the computer, they must have to use some languages, and they will have to write programs and algorithms to run their logics. Okay, so it is about our basic computer. Our basic computers works by utilizing the transistors at the bottom of approach. So transistor is the fundamental unit of our computer. But what is the issues then? Because we are very happy till now if you are using Core i5 microprocessor, Core i7 microprocessor, these microprocessors are really very fast, and they are right now they are there in everybody's home, okay, in everybody's laptop they are there. So we are happy with that. And even in supercomputers, this type of the series of this type of microprocessor if will attach, so the computing power of supercomputer is very high. We can solve the bigger problems of the world very easily. Suppose if we will suppose about weather forecast. So India's weather is very complicated, as we know, because from the Gulf countries and from the Arabian Sea, the waves are coming. Okay, the winds are coming, so that's why the complications is much more for Indian weather forecasting. But from past few years, because India weather department has a supercomputer, so the weather is not up to the mark, but it is accurate actually. Up to 70-80%, whatever forecasting is done at weather forecasting level, so that is accurate actually. So we are happy with that. But what is the problem? As it is written, logic gates are made up of transistors. So transistors are real devices actually. So they are keeping themselves on and off based on the logics which we are providing in the form of currents. Okay, so what happens? We are in the 1958 when Jack Kilby sir has came up with the idea of integrated circuit. After that, ICs has been started to manufacture, and as we know that 1971 first microprocessor 4004 that has came into market, then 8085, 8086, then Pentium, and all types of ARM microprocessor, and all types of different microprocessor have came up into market. So if we will talk about the early era of microprocessor, so in 1970s, the scientists and engineers all were trying to minimize the size of the transistors, okay, with better performance, because if you will minimize the size of the transistors, so in one particular area, okay, we can occupy much more transistors, so it will increase the speed of the devices, performance will be increased, and if you will do the mass production of it, so obviously that will be a chip, so masses can afford it. So Intel and IBM, Microsoft, all these companies were just trying to minimize the size of the transistors. And as we know that Moore's law is there inside it. So Moore sir has given the law in 1965 around, and he has told that in every 18 months, the number of transistors would be double in the same area. Okay, whatever, suppose right now we are occupying 1,000 of transistors in the area, in the 1 centimeter square. So after 18 months, in the same 1 centimeter square, the number of transistors would be doubled. Means it will be double means if right now it is 1,000, then it will be after 18 months we can occupy 2,000 transistors. So like that, Moore's law was working, and the companies in all over the world, because they are commercial companies, they have to make money out of it. So they have tried to minimize the size of the transistors. But now, if you will see in 1980 or 1990, so the power dissipation should be minimized and the number of transistors should be very less. Okay, so number of transistors should be very high and the size of the transistor should be very less. That was the concept. Okay, but and that was a concept in low power VLSI design only. Okay, that is a totally different field where we are trying to minimize the power dissipation of the transistor or of the circuit very less. But the thing is that if you will come to 2000 or 2005, so the transistor size has become up to 180 nanometer. Okay, 180 nanometer transistor size. So at that time, the problem has occurred because transistor is a real device. So tunneling of the electrons has started actually. So tunneling of the electrons from one place to another, that has become a problem. If you go below that 50 nanometer, okay, and if you see 32 nanometer, then 25 nanometer, 15 nanometer, up to 15 nanometer transistors have been made very well. But then after, if you are thinking about 7 nanometer, so tunneling of electrons have started creating a problem actually. So teleportation of electrons has started actually at that time because transistor, At the end of the day, it is made up of silicon, okay, pure silicon. So it is a kind of a semiconductor. So what happens whenever the electrons is passing from one place to another, there is no problem because we are letting electrons pass or we are letting currents to go from one place to another. It is okay. But whenever we want to stop the flow of current, at the time we want some mechanism. And that's why we all know that the basic structure of the transistor, MOSFET, if you will see, drain, source, and then gate and substrate is there. Generally, substrate is connected with the source. Okay, so these three terminals like gate, source, and this our gate drain is very much important. So if you want to stop the flow of current, we will have to apply some logic. We will have to make some mechanism. But what happens below 7 nanometer or at 7 nanometer, what happens? Though we are making some kind of a management or arrangement, the layer of stopping the electrons is that much shallow or that much small that teleportation of the electrons is happening actually. So electrons is not electrons are passing actually from that. So what happens actually at 5 nanometer, if you are going to make the microprocessor, so the error rate is very much high. The yield is very less actually at this point, because suppose that if you have made one microprocessor and the thing is that the microprocessor is working very efficiently, but it is giving an error at 1 lakh programs, okay, once in a lakh thing actually. So that's not a problem. But right now at 5 nanometer, once in 100, the error rate is coming. So that's a problem actually. So that's why we have gone, we cannot go below that. If we will make the manufacturing at 3 nanometer, see, TSMC has already announced that it has been successfully made the 5 nanometer transistors. Even IBM has announced that, and so the scientists have been, they have achieved that level. They have made the microprocessor of 5 nanometer. But what below 5 nanometer? There is many scientists and many engineers are there, researchers are there who are working in the field of coming with a new technology all the time. Okay, there are many engineers in Intel, IBM, Microsoft are there, which are working always on the new technology. So they are very much worried about right now, because after 5 nanometer, what will happen? We will not be able to manufacture the microprocessor of 3 nanometer, because tunneling problem is that teleportation of the electrons will happen, because after 3 nanometer or at the 3 nanometer, quantum physics starts to apply. So before 5 nanometer, what was happening? The electrons was not teleported itself, and there was a tunnel. They were stopping very efficiently by the transistors. But after 3 nanometer, it is next to impossible. So the much more research is going on, and much more money is involved actually into this. So companies all over the world, they are trying to survive in this field. So they're trying to make the cheap kind of ICs, as well as at the same time they're trying to increase the competition limit. They're trying to make the efficient ICs with the good algorithms, good design aspects. So up to coming 5 to 10 years, it's not a problem. We will survive. Okay, the VLSI industry will survive for 5 to 10 years. But you see, the VLSI industry is very big actually. Big giant companies are there. Okay, so they are doing research in this field, but the nature itself will not allow them to create a transistor size less than 3 nanometer. So what is the option? Okay, so because quantum laws are applied at below 3 nanometer. What is quantum law? Quantum laws are kind of laws, if you'll see, which works at the nano level. Okay, so as you can see, quantum is a quantum. What is quantum? Quantum laws are applied at the lower level. So if you will see the atom of copper or atom of gold, so atoms are different. They will differently behave. But if you will break the atom of copper or break the atom of any metal, or suppose the gold, so inside that electrons are there. Okay, inside nucleus, electrons, protons, they are there. So if we are talking about electrons right now, so electrons are there. So electrons behave in the same manner, either they are from copper or gold. Electrons are same. Okay, so there is no difference at the subatomic level. The behavior of electrons will be same for everything. Okay, so and quantum laws are applied there. So that is the problem. If quantum laws are not there, if they are behaving like in the Newtonian laws, So that's not a problem. But quantum laws are quite weird. They are different. Okay, because they are at the subatomic level. What is quantum law actually? So first of all, if you will see this in this design, why is quantum different? So if you will see in this design, so in the classical states, we have two states are there. The first is logic 0 and the second state is logic 1. Okay, logic 0 and logic 1. But if you will see in the quantum states, it is in superposition. What is superposition? Superposition is that state in which if you will observe the atom of electrons, they will be logic 0 whenever you will observe it. Okay, but if you will not observe it, the electrons will be in superposition at subatomic level. Okay, we are talking about the quantum laws right now. If you will not observe the electrons, okay, let the electrons be in its state, so it will not be in one state like logic 0 or logic 1. Okay, just for an example, if take the scale from 0 to 100, okay, if you will take the scale from 0 to 100, so in our normal day-to-day life, what happens? We are either at the 0 level or at the 1 level, because we are in the binary field. Okay, in the binary system, we have the two states on. But in quantum level, at the subatomic level, electrons will be either at the 0 level, because whenever you will observe, if you are not observing it, so it will be in the superposition. Superposition means it can be anywhere between 0 to 100. If you will take the scale of 0 to 100, so electrons can reside at any level. Either it will be at 0, 1, 2, 3, either 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. There are infinite levels are there. Okay, so that's why these electrons in the subatomic level, they are known as qubits. Qubit is totally a different fundamental and different concept it is. In real world, we have never seen, we have never realized, we have never observed this kind of a things, but these things happen only at the subatomic level. Okay, and the molecules and the electrons, either that is of our body or that is of any matter, they will behave in the same, in all the universe, in the same manner they will behave. Okay, so what is superposition? Superposition is the state of electrons whenever the electrons will be in subatomic level. Okay, if you will observe it, it will go in logic 0. If you will observe it, that's why it is in science, the most quote is there, like whenever we will observe any experiment, that experiment will collapse. We should observe the experiment once that experiment is done. If you will observe any experiment in our real world also, if you will observe the experiment when it is happening, so sometimes it is possible that its results are not up to the mark. We should observe the experiment when it is done. The same thing happens in quantum physics also. We should observe the things when the things are done. And as I have told you, if you will take the scale of 0 to 100, so that is our limitation, that we have taken the scale from 0 to 100. Okay, but the possibilities is infinite. So in superposition, the electrons take many states at the same time. At the same time, electrons can be logic 0, at logic 1, or it can be in between logic 0 and logic 1. So there are infinite states are there in which electrons can be there at the same time. That is called as a superposition. And the other thing is entanglement. That is the other property of quantum physics. Entanglement means, suppose one electron is there in America right now. Okay, and one electron is there right now in India. So if you will do some experiment with the electrons in India, the same effect will get the electrons which is there in America. Okay, that is known as an entanglement. So teleportation things, we are just imaging it right now, but that can be a reality in future. Teleportation, if we are all are watching the science fi movies, okay, so teleportations things will be in a reality, because the persons without any physical interaction with each other, they can teleport one thing from here to there. Okay, because it is already available. So quantum physics or quantum phenomena is totally different. It is it is very weird to understand, and many scientists are trying to understand the things at the bottom of approach. What will happen because of this? As we have seen that if we will take the scales from 0 to 100, but the scale, quantum physics does not have a limit. Okay, the electrons can be at any state. in superposition. Okay, so what will happen? Infinite possibilities are there. If you take the example, infinite possibilities, infinite probabilities are there at the same time. So what will happen? Suppose if you want to solve something, okay, suppose a plus b is giving some answer to you. Suppose for example 4 plus 3, we know that it is 7, but probabilities are there. 4 plus 3 can be 0, 4 plus 3 can be 1, 4 plus 3 can be 2, 4, 5, anything can be there. So what will happen? All these probabilities are there. So what will happen at quantum physics level? If the electrons are working in superposition, it has infinite states are there, so it will apply all the means it will be able to see all these probabilities at the same time, and it will come with the result. Okay, it's a much more complex things obviously, but I'm telling in a lucid manner that all the possibilities are there because electrons is in superposition, so it will try to find out all the possibilities and come up with the result, one result only, okay, at the end of the day. So if you will see, we can solve the complex problems which takes much more time to solve in real world. In quantum physics, we can solve that in the fraction of time, within a nanoseconds, not in microseconds solving, but within a nanoseconds, we can solve that problem, which takes years of time if we will do that in real world right now. Okay, so quantum physics and quantum computers are that much fast. Amazing, means it is beyond our imagination level, that much fast they are. If they can solve the theory of Big Bang theory, so nothing in this world is more complex than the Big Bang theory. Scientists are working from many years. Okay, so like that many things can be solved in a fraction of time. That's why all the big giant companies like Google, IBM, Microsoft, even Chinese government is funding uh, much more amount in the research of quantum computing. They're not only giving funds for making quantum computers, but they are also funding for generating the next generation engineers in the field of quantum computing. So we all know that the best hackers of the world are in China, and because of that, India and USA and many other countries are facing much more problems. Even ISRO satellites, they have tried many times to hack them, but we are using the salting technique, which is very much advanced. So salting techniques, any encryption if you will do in real world, if you will do any encryptions, what we are doing, we are trying to delay the time for the hackers so that they can crack it. Okay, nothing is like which cannot be cracked in this world, in this real world. Nothing is like that which cannot be cracked, because even we have remembered our password. Now, if we are making something online, if we are making some account online, okay, so we ourselves are remembering it. Na? So it means that we have cracked it. Okay, so if one hacker is there, based on our passwords complexity, either he will take 1 day, 2 day, even 1 month time, maybe 5 years time, okay, to crack the things. So that's okay. But in quantum computing, what happens? The possibilities are infinite. Okay, so it is not like that quantum computing password cannot be cracked. But what will happen? The hackers will have to wait for 2000 years. Okay, it's next, means it is not real thing. It is unrealistic. So that's the problem. So how quantum computer works actually? So if you will see in this figure, the massive things we can see, like Sundar Pichai sir is standing beside the Google quantum computer, okay, and this is the IBM quantum computer is there. So it looks like much more complex things. But dear friends, actually, to make a quantum computer, what is the basic things are there? Quantum computers are working on quantum computing, quantum qualities, okay, or quantum physics. So what is quantum physics? In quantum physics, the electron should be free to be able to remain in superposition states. Okay, electrons must be in superposition states, and superposition states is possible when the electrons will be at the 0 Kelvin temperature. Okay, Zero Kelvin temperature is very complex things. It is not that much easily achieved. So it is quite colder than the outer space. So to make the quantum computer, the basic and first thing is we will have to get the temperature very low. Very low means it is next to zero Kelvin temperature. Okay, absolute zero temperature should be there. So whatever thing we are watching in this picture, either Sundar Pichai sir is standing beside the Google quantum computer. So all these things inside this, at the bottom of only one chip will be there. Okay, very small chip will be there, which will be the quantum processors. They are telling it for 8-bit or 16-bit, 32 qubit. Okay, so they are able to make that kind of a processor. But all this structure, whatever we are watching in this pictures, it we are watching it like it is a kind of a complex things, but no, they are not complex. These things are used, this all structure is used to cool down the temperature for the microprocessor. Okay, quantum microprocessor, these all things are just to use the to cool down the temperature, as well as the other effects like temperature effect. Obviously temperature effect is there, then friction is there, then environment effect is there, then noise is there, x-ray effects is there. So all these effects will move the electrons from the superposition. So if the electrons will not be in superposition, there is no meaning of uh, uh, making these machines. Okay, there is no use of making quantum computers. So electrons must be in superposition states. How they will be in superposition states? If electrons will be in it will be in zero Kelvin. Okay, so all this structure, whatever we are saying, we are watching, either helium liquid or hydrogen liquid or nitrogen liquids are used in all these pipes to make the system quite cool. Okay, and it should be vibration proof. Suppose that your quantum computer is there in one room. Okay, sealed room is there, and if one plane is going from the sky above that, so that vibration of that plane will make the system worst. Okay, we will not get the result whatever we have desired. So that much small vibration is also impacting, giving impact on the functioning of quantum computer. Okay, so quantum computers are quite expensive, because to make them, or to make them work actually in real world, it is next to impossible actually. That's why only few companies, or few, like Google, Microsoft, IBM, and the governments, they are trying to make the quantum computer. But once they will be successful, then that will be a kind of a, you can say that it is a money printing machine kind of a thing. They will earn that much, that because they are solving the complex problems within a seconds of time. Okay, so they will, and just like coronavirus have came, how coronavirus is affecting, it is directly affecting to our immune system. Okay, scientists till for 6 months, or starting of 6 months, scientists were doing research on coronavirus, but they were not able to understand how it is functioning, how it is attacking to our lungs, okay, or our throat area, how it is affecting. So scientists were doing research, and it was a kind of a trial and error. It was not the perfect thing. They were knowing, they were doing the trial and error. But in quantum computing, infinite trial and error you can do within a seconds. That's the matter. So just suppose that you have given something as an input to quantum computing, it will check all the possibilities, whatever it is possible. It will check all the possibilities within a fraction of seconds. Okay, in microseconds actually. It will, at one instance only, it will check all the possibilities. Okay, and it will come up with the correct result within a seconds. So that will be a miracle actually. Not in the medical field only. You see, in the medical field actually, aid from last 25 to 30 years, we are hearing the words like AIDS. Okay, AIDS, but it does not. We are not able to make vaccine for AIDS. Why? Because we don't know how the immune system is affected because of the AIDS virus, and the if you will see the main immune system of our body, that is getting affected by AIDS or any other disease. So scientists are taking years of time to make one vaccine. And if you will utilize, or if you will be able to make the quantum computer in real, so that will be a uh, means that will be a fraction of times we will get the answer within fraction of times instead of years. So that will be a miracle. It seems like this is not real, but these things are real. That's why the companies are investing huge amount in making the quantum computers. But the drawback of quantum computers is that the electrons which are there inside the microprocessor, they must be in superposition. And to achieve superposition for electrons, that is very tough task. That's why all these quantum computers are complex machines. These all complex machines are trying to make the temperature as low as possible. Okay, to achieve a 0 Kelvin temperature is not an easy task. Okay, so that's why all the companies are trying to make the quantum computers. Now the applications of quantum computer, if you will see quantum computing, okay, quantum computing's basic approach is to make the quantum computers only by utilizing the quantum physics, quantum laws. So if you will see in our body is made up of actually molecules. Okay, protein is there inside our body. So there is a DNA, structure of DNA. If you will see the A, T, C, and G, okay, these are the main building blocks of DNA. So DNA is this building blocks is same in all over this universe, in all over the living things body. So scientists know that how the DNA is working. Scientists know it very well because they are doing the research in this, but they don't know what is there inside this DNA. Okay, A, T, C, G, they know that, but how A or T or C or G, this substance will behave or what is there inside that, they don't know. So these are these molecules, if they will be able to simulate them using the quantum computer, so that's really a breakthrough. That will be, nothing will be more important than that, because you know that whenever you will deal with some vaccine or some kind of a liquid, if you will give that, so how the DNA will work, like if you will see the example of chemotherapy, okay, that is used in the cancer treatment of cancer. So chemotherapy's drawback is that it will affect the other parts of the body also. But using the quantum computing or quantum computer, if you will be able to apply the solution or the chemotherapy to the particular cancer cells, so that will be wonderful actually, because only that cells will be removed or that cells will be treated which are affected. Other cells will not be affected. Okay, so that will be a miracle, that will be a breakthrough. Like that, at the subatomic level, okay, because hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus, all these are atoms only. But if you will break them down, inside that electrons, proton, neutrons are there. So electrons are moving very fast. Okay, they are revolving very fast actually. So they are revolving in the superposition states actually. So if you will able to tackle with that superposition state somehow and make a quantum computer and just utilize them to make the things work, so that will be a wonderful thing. So these real simulations kind of a things are required actually. So that's far away from the reality right now, because the quantum computers are at you can tell like they are at the infant stage right now. Okay, and if you'll see the other example of quantum computing, so in the encryption system, encrypting of this system is very much important. USA, India, even all the countries, every country is spending billions of rupees on the security point of view. Okay, because there are many important things are there, many important personalities are there, research is there of the country, so they are spending billions of rupees. But though the hackers are cracking the system, so once they are cracking the system, so that all the whatever they have spent billions of rupees, that is collapse actually. We know that the F-16 planes example of America, they have made the fifth generation plane, and they have took 10 years around, and 15 of countries jointly have made it. But once they have came up with the F-16, China has stolen all the material because of by doing the hacking of it, and they have made the J-16, okay, type of a copy of F-16. So they have came up with that, and that was a huge loss to America, because of hacking, whatever research is there done by one person, we can easily get that. That was that all the world is against it, but there is no option, because we are connected with the internet. Even Tesla cars, many times they are stuck with or they are going in the wrong way. So even Elon Musk has told that Chinese hackers are hacking the cars. They are sitting in the China somewhere, okay, and they are hacking the car in the USA, okay, and they are making the system collapse, okay. So and Chinese government does not allow anybody to do the investigation inside that country, okay. That is a dangerous threat to the world. But if quantum computing will come into picture, what will happen? See, it is not like that quantum computer's password cannot be hacked. That will be hacked, but the possibilities are infinite. Okay, out of infinite possibilities, if you want to uh, go to any particular possibilities, so you will have to check that infinite possibilities, and that will take much more time. Suppose that if you want to crack some bank's password, okay, so it will require 20,000 years to crack the password. So 20,000 it is. Okay, so it is next to impossible. Nobody will try for that. And quantum computers is not affordable. So obviously the hackers will not have it. If bank or if the government will have the quantum computers with them, so they will do all the encryption for their security point of view. So they will give it to the forces, to the research lab, to the for the security of the big personalities. They will utilize the password of quantum computer created so that it will not be hacked by any hackers. That's why all over the even the World Bank, they all are spending much more amount in the quantum computing. If you will see online, guys, friends, really all over the world, in all the governments are spending much more money. They are giving money for the research point of view, because once if some government or some organization will be able to tackle with this situation, they will be at the top. Okay, they will solve any complex problem within the seconds of time. So like the third point is like high variable mathematics is possible because of quantum computing. Like if you will see, we know that a plus b is equal to giving the answer as a c. Okay, here a is unknown and b is the known quantity, so we can predict what will be the answer for c. But what will happen if a into b plus c plus d minus d, okay, then multiply by f, g, like that, and all the possibilities, all the variables are unknown. So what will happen? If the unknown variables are like, if you know the value of x, if you don't know the value of y is unknown, z is also unknown, and they are like that, hundreds of unknown variables are there. And if you want to get answer for that, which is a complex mathematics, it is not possible with a supercomputer also nowadays. Okay, if you will go the unknown probability of unknown variable probability of more than 100, it is quite complex. So even the supercomputers are taking months of time to solve these problems. But using quantum computing, the same problem can be tackled within a seconds of time. So you can do many complex things. Okay, so quantum computers are, that is the demand of the time because of many reasons, like for security point of view, for solving the many complex systems. Like we all use the Google Maps nowadays, so we know that if you want to go from one place to another, and if you are using Google Map, so out of hundreds of possibilities, it will give you the perfect time and perfect path from which you can go to from one place to another, and it will show the time also. Like it will show that you will take 30 minutes of time from going to one place to another. Okay, that is the efficiency of Google Map. But if we are applying Google Map using quantum computing, so what will happen? The accuracy will be quite high. Even it will give you the time in seconds. Actually, that 30 minutes, okay, 1 minute and 100 seconds it will take for you to reach from this place to the other place. As well as it will count all the means whatever waste is coming from one place to another. In all the in between ways, it will count very efficiently. Thousands of time it will do the simulation and it will come with the accurate, correct result. So quantum computing has that ability. It will give you the perfect and quite accurate results within a fractions of time. But coming to the next slide, like reality about quantum computing. So friends, quantum computing is something which is fascinating. We can solve the world's biggest problem within a fractions of time. But the problem is that real quantum computers are not there. in this world. Up to means we are talking about this in November 2021. So up to 2021, nothing is there in real world. Okay, quantum computers, because as suppose that you have made a quantum computer and one small insect is coming in that room. Okay, suppose an ant is coming. Okay, that ant is walking inside that room. So we can understand what will be the effect of ant walking inside that big giant room. Okay, no, nothing. But no, the quantum computer will get effect because of that, because that vibration, okay, that vibration, small vibration will affect the quantum computer's output, because the basic requirement for making a quantum computer is that the electrons, whatever they are there inside the quantum computers, they must be in the superposition state. If they will not be in superposition state, it is of no use. Though you have spent billions of rupees, that is a total waste. Okay, so currently whatever Google, IBM, Microsoft, and Intel, and this Chinese government, Indian government, whatever they are doing, they all are making a trial and error. They are trying to make quantum computers as efficient as possible. Okay, that's why Google is telling that it will be able to make the first quantum computer by 2030. Till now, they are doing research. So there is no hardware uh, there is no hardware available nowadays. These all are the research tool only. So real quantum computers does not exist in our world. They all are the trial and error kind of a things. Okay, so and the thing is that if you want to work electrons in the superposition states, so obviously the algorithm should be very smart and very accurate. If the algorithm would have 0.0001% of error also, that will give us the false result, because whatever algorithm we are making, that should be perfect. There should not be any error inside that. Perfect means 100% perfect. So this type of algorithm, obviously, that does not exist actually, because they are much more complex. Because all the possibilities we will have to check. So only 2 or 3 algorithms are possible in this world nowadays. Only 2 or 3 algorithms are there for which are working 100% on quantum computing. Okay, so that the theory is that actually the concept is there. Like I have told, Einstein sir has came up with the theory of laser beam. Okay, laser light. He was thinking that was his idea in 1925, but the reality of laser was in 1956. And then after, right now we all know that barcode codes are there. Whenever we are going for any kind of a shopping, even whenever we are using Paytm or phone pay, any kind of an app, Beam app, okay, we are scanning the things. So what is it? It is based on that the roots are situated in 1925 when Einstein has came up with that idea. So idea is different things. Idea may be perfect or no, may not be perfect, but to come it into a reality, it takes some time. Okay. Like that, quantum computing is kind of a fascinating things, and to keep the electrons in superposition states, everybody knows it, but to make that reality, that is totally a different thing. So you can see that IBM Q quantum computer is there, and it is kept in one box, and all this metal box or all this kind of a box, they are used just to cool down the temperature, just to cool down. So liquid hydrogen, liquid nitrogen, liquid helium 3, these 4 are the main liquids which are used for making the temperature cool. Okay, so these components or these liquids are quite costly. So that's why the quantum computers are quite costly actually. So guys, actually, if you will see the quantum microprocessor, they are not taking any kind of electricity. Okay, they are not dissipating any power, not any power. Okay, they are not dissipating any power because the electrons are in superposition states. So the temperature effect should not be there, vibration effect should not be there, any environmental effect like X-rays should not be there. So the room or the quantum computer structure is very isolated. So the quantum processor itself does not dissipate any power, but the arrangement to make the quantum computer which is required, that is huge. Okay, that is a huge structure. So that requires much more energy. So that requires up to 20 kilowatt of energy. Means quite huge energy is required. You can easily you can give this much energy to run a medium size of a city. Okay, that much energy is required to make a small quantum computer itself. So it's not a child's play actually to make a quantum computers using the quantum computing. So based on this, some tools are there actually, which are available free of cost, and you can say that they are the open source tools are there. So Microsoft Quantum Development Kit is there. You can see that, as well as we can there is culture. There is a quite curated list is there. Open source quantum software projects and the tools are available on GitHub. Okay, that is maintained by Quantum Open Source Foundation. That is a foundation which is working in quantum computer list. So it is organized this quantum open source foundation. Okay, this quantum open source foundation is organizing all this type of softwares and different kinds of language and tools. Generally nowadays, if you will see Microsoft Quantum Development Kit, which is free of cost, it is open source tool is there, and Microsoft has released a preview version of Quantum Development Kit that appears to supersede its early softwares. Okay, that is trying to tackle its early softwares. This is a newly launched kit, and Q has capital Q and then has. That is the language, programming language created by Microsoft Quantum Development Kit. Okay, that is provided to it, and which integrates with the Visual Studio development environment, guys. So we can have a hands-on experience with Microsoft Quantum Development Kit. If somebody is interested in doing work in quantum computing field, so they can go for it. And it is everything is really amazing, and it is free of cost. And the powerful Azure cloud platform is provided. Being many participants are from IT field and from electronics field, they must knowing that Azure cloud platform is quite powerful. So that is that powerful platform is provided in Microsoft Quantum Development Kit, as well as many rich libraries and code sample codes are available. Okay, as a building block in Microsoft Quantum Development Kit. So we can have it. And the other thing is IBM Quantum Experience. This is the other computing device, or we can say that it is a tool. And IBM has pushed much more experience. Okay, many thousands of engineers are there which are working in this quantum computing experience tool, and it allows the modules in 4 types. Okay, the first module is explaining the short tutorials are there inside the first module. Okay, the second module is just like a quantum gates are there, which are known as a qubits. Okay, so the how to compose that qubits into a simulation, that is your second unit. And the third module is providing you the simulator itself. So how to simulate the qubits and how to get answer at the simulation level. And the fourth level or fourth module in IBM Quantum Experience, that is the actual quantum computer, which is going to be provided by IBM. It is an open source and freely available on GitHub. So QuizKit, okay, that is the software which is provided by IBM. So like that, other projects are also there. Project Q is there. Intel has its own simulator is there. Quantum Programming Studio is there. Then Quantum User Interface, other software is there. So all these softwares are available. They are not the real quantum computers, but they are imitating like it. So you can have some kind of an output based on that, and these all are open source. Okay, so one can have a good future if they are working in this field. And as a beginner, how to start learning as a how to become a quantum computer engineer. So if you want to learn it, absolutely, they will have to go in the FDP, a kind of this, which is right now we are in which, so organized by the Tripura University. So thanks to this kind of FDP, thanks to the people who are organizing this kind of FDP, because this is totally a new area of research. So the world is behind it actually. So online platforms are available, guys, like quantum computing with Quizzkit Ultimate Masterclass, which is available by Udemy. And the second is quantum computing certificate. Okay, quantum computing certificate, IISc which is given by the IISc Bangalore itself. And the third online platform is like Introduction to Quantum Computing online class, which is given by LinkedIn itself. So these three, many courses are available, but these three are opting by many the next generation researchers or students all over the world. So we can also have the look into this. Okay, if somebody wants to learn Quizzkit. Quizzkit is a kind of a Python library that allows the users to play with the real quantum algorithms, and they can have their own algorithms which are available at the which they can simulate in IBM made quantum computers. Okay, but you have to learn Python language for that, and it can be used in Jupyter Notebook inside IBM Q super this quantum computers. Okay, and as you can see there, Shor's algorithm and Grover's algorithm, these are the algorithms which are 100% accurate to be worked in quantum computers. So like that we can start learning the quantum computer things. Okay, let me see one video now. Let me show you one video. Guys, does anybody have any questions relating to whatever I have told till now? Please raise your hand if you have any question. Yeah, please. Jagbir Singh, please ask the question.
We have Dr. Anirval Guha, who has also raised a hand. Sir, do you have anything to ask the expert?
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I have been listening to this lecture, which is very interesting. In fact, for joining this FDP, one of the main goals was to learn some new things, because I belong to Department of Physics, and I thank Dr. Sankit for giving such a wonderful introduction. I have one question, like we know that how to add two numbers in digital computers. So we can explain our students with the help of logic gates. Now, can you just briefly tell us the fundamentally how we can add two numbers using a quantum computers?
Yeah, that's a good question, sir. Actually, sir, what happens in our real world, whenever we are adding any numbers, two digits, as you have told, a kind of a half adder, we can say. So we know the probabilities of the answers. Means we know that if we will add two numbers, so we will get either 0 or 1 in bits. Okay, if we are adding 2 bits. The same thing happens in superposition also, if in quantum computing also. But here the thing is that the electrons are in superposition. So all the possibilities, all the probabilities, it is getting at the same time. It is simulating it at the same time. So quantum computer or quantum computing things are not which we can explain to the students easily. It is not digestible. It is something weird actually. So the maths behind this is quite complex. Okay, and because the electrons are in superposition states, so we can just understand that all the probabilities will be at the same time, that electrons will see all the probabilities, what will be the answer, and whatever answer will be there, we can observe it once we will stop doing the simulation, or once we will stop doing the experiment actually. And once we will stop doing the experiment, whatever result is there after completing all the result, we'll get the answer actually within fraction of time actually. The thing here is that superposition state of the electron, that is something which is our common sense does not allow it to happen actually, because all the possibilities at the same time parallelly it is happening. So as I have told you, sir, that superposition states, if the electrons will either at the logic 0 or it will be in superposition state. There is no logic one state is there. Okay, in quantum computing, logic one state does not happen actually. Either it will be in logic 0. Why it is in logic 0? Because whenever we will observe the thing by stopping it, if suppose if experiment is going on and if we are stopping it, so the electrons will be in logic 0 state only. If you are letting the things happen, so electrons being in a superposition state, it will try to observe all the possibilities. That's the thing actually. So by mathematical things and by understanding the superposition very well, we can explain these things to students. That's something which is complex actually. So for that, we will have to do the course, which are basic courses are there. They will also not touch basic maths, means mathematics things that much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Actually, to explain it to the students, no, sir, that is something weird actually, because our common sense does not allow us to do that actually.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Is asking,
Albir
sir,
Singh
please
has
explain
asked
superposition.
one question. He has put out his query in the chat box. So let me read it. So he just asked that how external vibration affect to a computer output, as you given an example of a plane and aunt vibration.
Yeah, actually, sir, whenever vibration will happen, so the thing is that electron should not lose its superposition state, and it will achieve the superposition states only at the 0 Kelvin. That is the problem here. Only at the 0 Kelvin, means minus 273.15 degrees centigrade. That is next to impossible actually, okay, to achieve that state. You can just think that it is colder than the universe temperature. Universe temperature is very much low, na? So it is colder than that. So if the plane is moving from some distance, so obviously some vibration will be there in the environment. That vibration will shift the electrons from the superposition state. And once the electrons will change its states, then the result is 0 actually. At the end of the day, we are not getting anything. So that's really weird actually. So like that, not only vibration, but the outer temperature, then the other rays like X-rays are there. Okay, so we cannot see them. Like mobile rays, we cannot see right now. We don't know. We cannot see them from our naked eyes. But mobile rays are there everywhere. So mobile rays are not allowed to be there inside the supercomputer's room. Okay, they will have to tackle somehow with this kind of an issue. If mobile rays are there, obviously they will shift the state of the electrons from the superposition. So superposition is everything actually. It is a kind of a fundamental things. Like if we will talking about the VLSI chips right now, so transistor is everything. Whenever we are talking about electronics, so at the base, transistors are there. If you don't have transistor, you cannot talk about anything. That's why transistors, to learn transistors, people are spending years of time. Okay, they want to achieve some kind of a level, some kind of a pro level in understanding the VLSI chips. They have to spend years of time to understand the transistors. Like that, to understand supercomputing or supercomputers, we will have to understand the superposition states first. And electrons must be in superposition states. Otherwise, nothing will happen. So many external things are affecting it. And that's the reason these quantum computers are quite costly. Normal company or normal human being cannot afford it. And this guys, please understand that quantum computers will never be available inside our home. Okay, that will never be a reality. Either even after 100 years or even after 1000 years also, that will not be happen actually. So parallelly, our VLSI chips, our conventional kind of things, that will be parallel there, because obviously, 0 Kelvin temperature we cannot achieve in our room. We cannot have that kind of a system, small system. So big giant machines are there, which is giving us the facility to have 0 Kelvin temperature. Yeah, any more questions, guys? Let me That's what are the challenges of quantum computing? To make the electrons be in superposition state, that is the biggest challenge. That is the biggest challenge. So, because you think that, just like what is the biggest challenge in VLSI chips? To make the transistor smaller and smaller. That is the biggest challenge. Everything, rest of the things like power dissipation is there, heat dissipation, or you can say that the error rate, everything can be controlled, okay, by trial and error. But to make a transistor that is efficient transistor, that is the most fundamental things. Like that, in quantum computer, to make the electrons work in superposition state, that is the main thing actually. Let me see one video of government of India. So where are we right now actually? Because whole the world is behind quantum computing, but where we stands as an Indian.
Since the 1960s, the power of our computers has kept growing exponentially, allowing computers to get smaller and more powerful at the same time. The circuit size of silicon chips is shrinking, and we have already reached nanoscale. Further, we should understand another scale, which is quantum. Quantum computing is the next paradigm shift in computing. By harnessing quantum mechanics power, it gives an opportunity to continue the exponential growth in computing power that is getting slowed down in traditional digital computing. Due to unique properties, quantum computers can simultaneously run millions of computations and help solve specific types of problems significantly faster when compared to traditional computers. New breakthroughs are happening using quantum computers in various fields, such as medicine, science, communication, security, and so on. To remain as a global design house in ICT and its applications, India needs to create the necessary infrastructure for competency building of our manpower in quantum computing. It is also an opportunity to be a global leader in this area. Therefore, there is a huge need to build quantum computing capabilities in India to contribute to advanced research and also explore its potential in various application domains.
Digital partnership from startups to quantum computing emerged as a key priority. History has shown that leadership in new technology drives economic strength, jobs, and prosperity.
Keeping in view the future importance of quantum computing, IISc Bangalore, IIT Roorkee, and CDAC have joined hands and developed QSIM, Quantum Computer Simulator Toolkit, based on IBM's open source Qiskit framework. QSIM, a platform for students, researchers, startups and industries to help design better hardware for advanced research in quantum computing. There is no installation required, just sign in into qctoolkit.in from any browser and get started. Begin learning with an intuitive user interface and let you see what's happening at the quantum level. Induce quantum noise, add measurements, and simulate on powerful high-performance computing resources such as CDAC's Param Shavak and Param Siddhi AI and visualize results faster. QSIM comes loaded with quantum programs and algorithms such as Grover's, Deutsch Yosa, QFT to provide head start to the users. Consider an example of a binary addition algorithm. QSIM helps to understand how the fidelity of the computation changes as noise parameters are varied. A real quantum computer may suffer errors from many sources. QSIM allows fine-tuning errors and helps in designing error-resilient system. Expertise in quantum computing will help India realize future expectations of various fields. To accomplish this dream, QSIM is an initiative under Atmanirbhar Bharat.
So dear friends, as we can see that India is also not behind. The government of India is has came up with the new scheme and various available resources for the our countrymen. We can use quiz scheme. Otherwise, this quiz kit launched by IBM, that is a wonderful tool. All over the world, the researchers are using this quiz kit. If you will learn this, you will be able to do the simulation for quantum computing, and that's open source. So if somebody wants to do research in this quantum computing field, first of all, they will have to do some courses which are available, or either attend this type of an FDP. Once you will learn the basics, then just do some hands-on experience, take some hands-on experience on QuizKit or QSIM. Okay, this kind of a tool is available there, and our India is also doing quite good things in quantum computing. So the coming generation, or the in coming next 10 or 15 years, there will be much more requirement for the people who are working in quantum computing field. So particularly for the students, as a teacher, we can give them some kind of an assignment on some kind of a projects to do in QSIM kind of a tool. Okay, and all these tools are free of source, means open source. So there is no need to spend some bunch of amounts, okay, to get this tool. So that's a wonderful thing, guys. And as we can see that the next era is for quantum computing. So quantum learn the things is quite important. If you will not update ourselves, so we will lag behind. We will be at nowhere. Actually. So that is my request, or that is my humble request actually to all of you to learn the things. Once you are in the FTPs, so learn the things very well. Ask many questions. Try to understand the things, and try to explore the future technology like quantum computing. Okay, thank you all of you guys.
Thank you very much for your expertise session, and share the valuable time with us. Thank you for your this introduction to quantum computing, and putting the inspiration and this focus on the emerging topics like quantum computing. You have mentioned where we are, where India and where the whole world is with the research in this particular. And you have also mentioned how to start from the beginning, and where the beginner should start. Our next lecture will be talking about this, that he will be covering the basic gates, quantum gates, along with the ways of simulating using QuizKit that you have mentioned. So once again, thank you from the Tripura University as well as Department of IT. It's a very pleasure to have your session with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for inviting. And I have a wonderful experience of giving this lecture actually.
Okay, hope to meet you soon again in the near future.